It's showtime. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. We've just gotten back from the Netherworld with a fresh look at the brand new Beetlejuice movie, and we will be talking about it today on Two Geeks and a Microphone.
Hello there. So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
I guess I'll talk first this morning since Steven is not with us. Steven could not be here today because he has to go to his stepson's first football game of the season. I believe it's the first football game of the season anyway. And he said it was like a 5-hour drive. So Steven is on his way to a football game, so he will not be with us. Instead, I'll be taking the main seat and taking his place. And Megan, my daughter, will be filling in as our co-host today. Good morning, Megan.
Good morning.
So, please excuse the dog in the background. She is going nuts this morning. I tried everything. I took her for a WALK. Don't want to say the word out loud. I've played Frisbee with her, and yeah, so apparently somebody's walking by the house, and yeah, so anyway, please excuse the crazy, insane, freaking dog. So we just went and seen Beetlejuice last night. Beetlejuice. Nobody says the B word. And so we're going to have a fresh take of that. Look at that. And we've got some geeky news. And Megan has a geek dar for us. I don't really have a geek dar this morning. So shall we, what?
Your shirt, technically.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that in Geek Dar then, I guess. So let's jump into the geeky news first, shall we? You weren't ready for what?
I thought I was doing that.
Oh. No, I was, whatever. Anyway, so geeky news. First up, the only thing up on the table today is apparently we finally have a Hal Jordan cast for the new DCU. Josh Brolin has been cast as Hal Jordan. Some of you may know that Josh Brolin played Cable in Deadpool 2. He was a very good Cable, by the way. I really liked him. I got mixed feelings about him playing Hal Jordan because I still think Nathan Fillion should be playing Hal Jordan. But hey, Josh Brolin might be a good choice. He kind of looks like he fits the part. The only thing that bothers me is, so we're shooting for this older Hal Jordan who is going to apparently be older than our Superman and older than the upcoming Batman that they're gonna cast that they have not cast yet.
You mentioned Cable, but not Thanos.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he also played Thanos in the Marvel universe, Marvel Cinema. Well, technically that was the Fox side of things with, right? Or no, Thanos is Marvel.
Thanos is Marvel.
That's right.
Cable would have been the Fox side.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so Cable would have been the Fox side, and then Thanos is the Marvel side of things. I hate these stupid ads that pop up on here. Gosh. Anyway, so yeah, apparently we've got him. Supposedly he is accepted. Now, this will be interesting in the fact that he has played Cable alongside Ryan Reynolds, who is Deadpool, as we know. And I can't wait till there's some jokes between the two of them of the fact that Ryan Reynolds started off his superhero career with Green Lantern, and that was possibly a career-killing role, but he managed to live through it. They actually joke about that on a little interview that the two of them did together, which was a fun interview. I don't know where that was at. I saw clips of it on YouTube this morning, but So yeah, I can't wait to hear the jokes between the two of them and the fact that Josh will be taking on the Green Lantern Hal Jordan role in opposed to Ryan Reynolds. And I hope we get Cable back in another Deadpool, and then there's some kind of Green Lantern joke between the two of them in the movie, because there has to be. So other than that, I don't really have any geeky news. Megan, what do you think about Hal Jordan, our Hal Jordan choice? Do you have any feelings about our Hal Jordan choice here?
I'm not sure. I liked Ryan Reynolds as Hal. I liked the Green Lantern movie.
Steven and I rewatched it for I think it was the 10th anniversary, which is funny because Ryan Reynolds was he did some videos, and he's drinking his gin, his own gin, the aviation gin, and he's got it green. I don't know what he put in it to make it green, but I mean, it is green too. It is almost glowing green. And he's wearing the Green Lantern ring. Oh, I meant to wear mine. I forgot to. Oh, well. But he's wearing the Green Lantern ring and watching Green Lantern for the first time. He had never actually sat down and watched the whole movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's pretty fun. You can look that one up on YouTube too. But I agree. I don't think Ryan Reynolds did a terrible job as Green Lantern. Sometimes I think it gets a worse reputation than what it deserves.
Yeah, I think it gets the most hate because of the suit.
Yeah, the suit was not great.
It was awkward.
Yeah, but the CGI still wasn't quite what it is today. True. And it wasn't quite there. Maybe they shouldn't have went with CGI suits. It might have made the movie better. Sinestro was great in that movie, though. I love Sinestro. Kilowog was fantastic, even though he's a fully CGI character, but he was still great. Tomar too. All the cool Green Lanterns from the Green Lantern Corps were fantastic in that film. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of good things in that movie. There's some bad things. Yeah, but I think people should take a second look at it. I really do. I think you should go back, watch it with fresh eyes, and see what you think from there. But so going forward, this is who we have, and hopefully it turns out to be a good thing. So we'll see. All right. You ready for Geek Door?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. You're chomping at the bit for this one, aren't you?
I like it.
Control with the radar, sir.
What's wrong with it?
I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps.
The what? The what? And the what?
You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
That's not all he's lost.
The great Michael Winslow. Okay, Megan has her Geek Dar.
I have a popcorn bucket. It's a sandworm. Oh, he's so cute.
What's his name?
I don't know.
I thought we said Sandy.
You said Sandy.
Sandy the sandworm. I have no idea what the sandworm's name is in the movie.
I don't think he has a name.
He does now. It's Sandy. I think Sandy's perfect for a sandworm, don't you?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just a giant sandworm curled up. I love him.
So, and how did you get this?
I ordered it off of our local theater, Marcus. They have a merchandise tab in their app /website. It was like $48 after shipping and tax. I think it was only like 30. So like between tax and shipping, it added an extra $10. But I love it.
It's cool. And it got some attention at the movie theater last night too. Yeah. They didn't have any at the theater, did they? I'm
surprised of that.
That they didn't have them at the theater?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
we used to.
They sent us an email, saying,
right,
here's the merch that's going to be available.
Right.
But yet yeah, they didn't have it available there. I guess the only way you could get it is order it online. It's
I mean,
kinda,
maybe they had it Thursday night.
oh, that's a possibility. Maybe they had it and sold out.
That could have been.
They probably, if they got it, they probably didn't get too many of them. Then that's my guess anyway.
I guess we really haven't had anything since it switched over to Marcus.
Shoot, Marcus has done, like, they had the posters for
Well,
Planet
yeah.
of the Apes,
I did get the pins for Deadpool and Wolverine,
right? So they've had a few things, but
but
it
they're
always,
not as.
yeah, it seems like AMC gets the really cool stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
the closest AMC to us is in St. Louis, and Marcus is just much closer, and it's easier for us to get to. I don't want
It's
to,
a little bit cheaper.
especially if I'm working in the office. That means I'm coming from St. Louis home, get you guys, and then I'm
Right.
not going back across the river again. No, we're not doing that. not when there's theaters just down the street from us. So yeah.
But I feel like when it was Warenberg, we definitely had the special cups
Yeah.
and special popcorn buckets.
Yeah, they didn't even have the special Beetlejuice cup that they
Mhm.
were supposed to have. At least not that I saw.
I didn't see any. I mean, we didn't get any.
Yeah.
But yeah, so. And it was funny because I had at least like 3 people comment on it. And they were all like, "Where'd you get that?" I love my popcorn bucket.
And I wore my new Beetlejuice shirt that I got at Walmart about 2 weeks ago. I've been chomping at the bit to wear it, and I actually did wear it to work last Thursday. That was fun. And I got a couple comments last night, although there was a girl who was wearing pants that I should have had for this that matched the shirt. That would have been great.
I like those pants. I kind of want them.
I do too, but then it looks like I'm running around in pajamas all the time. At least I break up the shirt with jeans or shorts, and it doesn't
I
look
have
too much like pajamas.
a Hot Topic sweater.
Oh, cool.
He's got the
Beetlejuice,
sandworms.
Beetlejuice, and Beetlejuice.
And the zipper is a sandworm.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
There's a detail on the back too. It's also got green stitching.
I
love
like
it.
that.
The hood also has green stitching down the.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. All right. So I think that's our Geekdar. Oh, your mom and I did start watching season 5 of Only Murders in the Building, and of course it was a good kickoff to the season. Of course, we got a murder right off the bat, and it was I don't want to give any spoilers away, but it was a secondary character, not a main character, but a secondary character that I really didn't expect to get killed off. So it was kind of surprising. So I'd say it was a good intro to the season. I'm expecting a good season. I love that show. It's a fantastic show. Steve Martin and Martin Short are just comedy geniuses. They're fantastic. And then
Selena Gomez.
yeah, Selena Gomez. She's a great companion to the two. I never would have put the 3 of them together before this show. And I mean, I'd put Martin Short and Steve Martin together. They've been together, they've done great things together, great comedies together. But then you throw in Selena Gomez, and that was one I was like, wow, that's a little odd choice for. They kind of make an odd triples, not a couple, but
Is one of them the dad from Cheaper by the Dozen?
I don't
Is that one?
remember Cheaper by the Dozen. Steve Martin is the dad in Father of the Bride, though, if that's what you mean. That's probably what you're thinking of. Because
No,
I
I was talking about Cheaper by the Dozen, but he is the dad in that.
Oh, is he? See, I don't know if I watched Cheaper by the Dozen. I don't. I did? Okay.
I love that movie.
Okay.
There's, I think, 2 of them.
That one
2 or
doesn't
3 of
stick out in my mind as a great.
It's a Disney movie.
Well, I mean, Father of the Bride really sticks out in my mind. Of course, my favorite Martin Short, or not Martin Short, favorite Steve Martin movie would be Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That movie is just incredible. I love that movie. Not to mention there's a St. Louis scene. There's a scene at Lambert Airport, which is fantastic. And he interacts with Herb Tarlick's wife from WKRP. And she has a Beetlejuice connection. Or not sort of Beetlejuice connection. She was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She was the secretary at the school. And then, of course, the principal of Ferris Bueller's Day Off is the dad in the original Beetlejuice movie. So, and I guess technically he's the dad in this one too. He's not exactly seen, not exactly, but we'll get into that more when we get into the main event. So, but yeah, that's my favorite Steve Martin flick, I would say. And then Father of the Bride's really good. And he's had a lot of great movies, of course. And then, Three Amigos. That's fantastic. And that's Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Chevy Chase. It's hard to top that one. That's a good one too. Have we watched Three Amigos?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure the only thing I've seen with Chevy Chase in it is National Lampoon.
Oh, that's because your mom doesn't like Chevy Chase, and I do. But that is a great movie. We'll have to sit down and watch it. See, she likes Three Amigos though, even though it's Chevy Chase, because she likes Steve Martin and she likes Martin Short, and they're fantastic in this movie. So, all right, shall we move on to the main event?
It's time for the main event.
So I guess in a way, Steven joined us. See, we got to hear his voice there. Here, we can also see him. There we go. There, he popped in for us. Hi, Steven. All right. So last night we went and seen Beetlejuice. I think there's a reasoning that this movie is called Beetlejuice and not Beetlejuice 2. I got a feeling we will get a third movie, and I'm sure the third one will be Beetlejuice. I'm pretty sure of that. They could not do any more and it'd be fine the way they ended it, but at the same time they also kind of threw in sort of a cliffhanger in a way to where if they want to do a third one, it's open, so it does have a sort of open ending, but not like cliffhanger type ending,
right?
So I think we have to pick, obviously, for our scale, it's going to have to be Sandworms, wouldn't you say?
Obviously.
I mean, it's either going to be Sandworms or Beetlejuices. Yeah.
Sandworms are a big part of the merchandise.
Yeah.
Which I love because they're not like a major part of either. They're not a major part of the stories, but they're loved.
See, another movie with sandworms that I like better than Dune. I can say that Steven's not here.
You like Star Wars too. Star Wars has a sandworm-ish.
It doesn't have a sandworm.
I mean, it's not called sandworm.
You got the crate dragon skeleton, and then you got that thing that's in the trash compactor. Oh well, we do have the pit.
Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a sandworm.
Kind of a sandworm.
Which in Boba Fett destroyed it with the Slave One, which was an incredible scene. I love that scene. But we're not here to talk about Star Wars today. We are here to talk about Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. So
Is it going to be a drinking game of how many times Beetlejuice is going to be said in this one?
nobody says the B word. No, because, well, if we do, we're going to be drinking Glitch. So, which I do have Smurf juice today. It's very good. I love Smurf juice. So, Beetlejuice. You want to start off, or you want me to start off?
You can start.
Okay. It's never going to top the original movie. Nothing tops the original movie. The original movie is fantastic. It's great. But this was a really good sequel to the film, in my opinion. It was a lot of fun, and that's what I want out of Beetlejuice. I want it to be fun. You know, it doesn't have to make sense. It's silly, it's goofy, and it's Michael Keaton just eating up scenery is what it is. And that's what I want. I want Michael Keaton eating up scenery. He is one of my all-time favorite actors, and he got to go nuts in this role, and it was incredible as far as that goes. That's not to say that there isn't problems with this movie. There are a few problems. I would say that this movie is a little slower than the original film, and we rewatched the original film last week too before we went and seen this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here last night watching it, and I'm like, wow. I just almost feel like this is a slower film than the original, and that the original came out in 1988, and a lot of people think that the movies in the 80s were slow.
I feel like that's also because there was a little bit more, like, there was more storylines in the second one to follow.
Agreed. I mean, you kind of have three different storylines going on.
Yeah.
Really, because you've got the story with Lydia and her fiance or whatever, which I hated, by the way. I cannot stand that guy. He was horrible. So that is a flaw. That character is just terrible. Did like his ending though. Could have been a little bit better, but yeah, it was good. And I called it, by the way. So we got that storyline going on with her and her fiance. Then we got the storyline with her daughter, Astrid, sorry, and a new character that was introduced. I don't want to say anything yet I don't want to say too much about him yet. And then we have the storyline between Beetlejuice and his ex-wife, which I thought was pretty funny. I was reading this morning that some people were like, oh, it was slow. It was drawn out, and we really didn't need it. But I felt it played an important part in the film. Again, we'll get into that in spoilers because we're not quite in spoiler territory. So you did have three storylines going on. And I love the Shrunken Head guys. They're great. They were fantastic. It was funny. We have a whole bunch of the Shrunken Head guys. Yeah, Beetlejuice has a whole office of the Shrunken Head guys.
Do you think they're the football players?
No, I don't think so. Because I mean, they're all wearing suits.
Well, yeah, but they could have changed.
Yeah, but I don't think they're the football players. I'm wondering if Beetlejuice learned how to do the Shrunken Head thing.
Maybe.
And then he just went around creating a bunch of shrunken heads. Although it doesn't answer how Beetlejuice got his head back. Yeah, back to normal. Because at the end of the original one, you know, the voodoo guy, he turns around, he gets pissed because Beetlejuice steals his number and then shrinks his head, and then Beetlejuice is like, hey, this could be a new look for me. You know, so and then here we have Beetlejuice back in his full glory in the second film. And yeah, it's like, well, wait a minute. How'd you get your head back to normal?
I have a fun fact about that I just learned.
Okay.
That was actually added post-production.
Oh, nice.
Shrinking Beetlejuice's head.
Was that a Michael Keaton
That I don't know.
Okay.
I just came across a TikTok before we came on that said that was a post production. It was added post production.
Okay.
I just thought that was interesting.
Cool. I do have some Beetlejuice facts that we're going to go through too. And that was not one of them, so, by the way. But Michael Keaton ad-libbing is one of the facts.
That doesn't surprise me.
So anyway, like I said, there are a few flaws. It moves a little slow in places, not in everything. We did have some great cameos. Danny DeVito showed up, and I loved his cameo. I thought he's fantastic. Pretty big fan of Danny DeVito and most of his work too. So that was great, and I enjoyed his ex-wife. I thought it was cool, and it added to the Beetlejuice character. So I thought that was important. The other thing, and of course, this has become a overused Hollywood trope, and I wish we could just do away with this. But every movie, do we have to get every movie preached at about environmental and feminist? And of course, we get the obligatory environmental stuff and feminist stuff, and it's like, okay, this wasn't in the first film, and I'm just tired of it's cliche now. Hollywood, stop it. Just stop your preaching. So those are the flaws of it, but there's plenty of good stuff. And I love that they returned to form with more practical effects and didn't go CGI with this. I read that Michael Keaton actually had stated if Tim Burton used a whole bunch of CGI in this and went away from practical effects, he didn't want to do it.
He was out.
Yeah, he was out because he wanted it to feel like the original film. I like how Michael Keaton, he tends to take command when it comes to movies he's doing. He actually has a lot of input, and that's the reason he left the Batman franchise, because he wasn't happy with the script for Batman Forever and said, I'm out of here, done, adios. So anyway,
So what's your score?
so I will give it, man, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I almost want to go Steven here. 7 3/4 sandworms. I know I always give Steven
7.75.
Yeah, there we go. 7.75 sandworms for this. I think it's a great movie. It's a lot of fun. I do think it's well worth going to see in the theaters. I think that's important to state, because you're gonna have fun with a big crowd. Okay. And this is a film that I think you should experience at least once with a big crowd. It was a good follow-up to the original film, but does not top the original film. So that's my overall thoughts on it. Megan.
Well, I was pretty happy with it. There's not a lot that I have to complain. It's not really complaints. I mean, I don't know. But I thought I did think it was a good continuation. I love Jenna Ortega. So
I think she's a fantastic actress.
and I love her. I don't count Beetlejuice as a horror movie, but it's classified in the horror genre for some reason.
I think it's horror comedy.
Comedy, yeah.
Right.
It was better than most horror comedies. At least the ones that I've been known that I know are labeled as horror comedy. But I love that she's taking up a mantle in a bunch of different horror aspects, because she's in the new Scream franchise, which has gotten me to like Scream. She's in Beetlejuice. She's Wednesday Addams. She's just taking over the kind of the horror genre.
Let me ask you this though: is she becoming typecast though?
Maybe.
Because I mean, she did a fantastic job as Wednesday, and some could argue that Astrid is
Kind of the same.
sorta, not quite as macabre as
Yeah.
Wednesday though. A little bit more down to earth, you know.
But then again, she's supposed to be Lydia's daughter,
Right. Right.
so it makes sense. Lydia and Wednesday are kind of very alike too when you look at their characters.
True.
They're both the gothic, angsty teens in
Yeah,
the original.
Jenna Ortega is like the new Winona Ryder,
Yeah.
honestly. Because Winona Ryder was the one who was known for playing all of those parts as a teen and early 20s.
Yeah, wasn't she in Edward Scissorhands?
Yes,
too?
she was. Yes, she was. Which is another Tim Burton film, by the way.
And Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Yep. That's probably Johnny Depp's first big hit, I think. Do you know what Johnny Depp's first movie is?
Yes.
What is it?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
No.
Oh, I thought that was his first.
No. Crybaby.
Oh.
Well, maybe. Oh no. Okay, wait a minute. I might have this wrong. Nightmare was his first movie, and then Crybaby was like his first starring role. That's what it was. And Crybaby's horrible. I absolutely hate that movie.
I wouldn't call it. Oh no, it's weird.
No, it's terrible. It is a terrible movie.
It's cringy.
I will give it a 1 out of 10.
I have watched that.
Oh my god, I can't. I can't watch that movie.
It's cringy. I probably won't ever watch it again.
It's beyond cringy. It is just. It's terrible. Horrible film. Oh
Anyway.
gosh. Anyway. So anyway, what else did you like about the film?
I liked the callbacks for the sculptures.
Mm.
I liked getting to see the sculptures again. I kind of wish she would have stuck with sculptures. I can't talk. Because it would have been cool to see newer sculptures.
Yeah, I didn't like her new art.
But she switched up.
Yeah, she's going to like
sculptures didn't talk to her anymore.
Right. She's doing more of video and photo, and
yeah,
I didn't like that. I guess it was trying to make it more modern, you know. I guess, but I agree with you. I like the sculptures better. Not that I like her sculptures,
but it's cool to see them because they're just crazy.
Right. They were funny and odd, and I like that. And apparently Luna
has things to say about that.
You didn't like the sculptures either? Or the new art? You didn't like the new art? Get off of me. Anyway, all right. I gotta stop talking to her. Maybe she will quit being loony. Stop it. All right. So what did you give it? What do you give it on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 to 10 sandworms.
I think I'm stuck on 8.5. Because I did really like it. I don't think ignoring her is working.
It's not. Oh my gosh, stop it.
Shh. Luna.
We're live. We can't pause. It's live, not Memorex. Oh my gosh, she won't stop.
The only thing that I really wanted that did not happen was I wanted a cameo from Alex Brightman, who played Beetlejuice on Broadway. And I love him.
Gotcha.
I wanted a cameo.
But see, this is about Michael Keaton. It's not about him.
The musical didn't exist when the first one came. Now it exists, and it's a very popular musical.
I agree, it is, but that's not what this is about. It's about Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder.
I didn't say I wanted him to star in it. I said I wanted him to have a cameo. He could have had Danny DeVito's cameo.
No, I like Danny DeVito's cameo. I thought it was great. I mean, yeah, he could have done that, but I think more people knew who Danny DeVito is than would have known who he is. You know, I think that's the only thing. And only diehard Beetlejuice who, and I only know that because I love Beetlejuice, but I don't know anything about the musical.
Yeah, I know about it because I'm a fan of Alex Brightman.
I'm not a fan of musicals much, so unless it's Spam-A-Lot or Young Frankenstein or something like that.
You like Fiddler on the Roof?
Yeah, Fiddler on the Roof wasn't bad.
You also like Music Man.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorites.
I only liked that really because you were in it, but at least the one version of it. So it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible. We'll put it that way. Fiddler on the Roof was actually pretty good. Fiddler on the Roof is the music is actually written by John Williams.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, fun fact there. All right, so what's your number? What do you give it?
8.5.
8.5. Okay, so just a little bit above me. So apparently you saw that there was a few little flaws in it, but nothing terrible. And overall, fun movie. Would you recommend people go see it in the theaters?
Absolutely.
Okay. And it's definitely worth buying later to have.
Absolutely.
To have for your Beetlejuice or Michael Keaton collection. So, all right. Well, I got some fun facts. I thought this would be fun to go over. So, these are facts that were put together through Screen Rant. And the first one is Michael Keaton received top billing for Beetlejuice, even though he only appeared in less than 20% of the original movie. He only rocked up around 25 minutes. As a result of this, Keaton was only required to be on set for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 weeks of filming. Now I don't know how long they filmed for, but
he definitely had more screen time in this one.
Oh yeah, he had a lot more screen. I would say it's probably double of what he had, double, maybe even triple, because we saw a lot of Beetlejuice in this. Oh my gosh, I tried to calm her down today too. So get off me. While Beetlejuice is fondly remembered as a whimsical comedy, you know nothing of this. Hush. Its original script leaned more towards the horror side of things. At a MOMA something, I don't know, there's some kind of awards, I don't know what they are. Tim Burton exhibited a few years ago. There was an original version of the script on display, complete with Burton's notes and comments, which indicated a move away from the bleak to the lighthearted. For one, the Maitland's car crash, so that would have been Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin, was meant to be far more gruesome than it was. In fact, I remember watching it last week, and when we saw the car crash, I was like, they probably could have survived that car crash. That wasn't all that bad.
Oh, I have a fact about that.
Okay, well, let me finish this. 2, Beetlejuice was meant to assault Lydia, not marry her, as per the final version. Finally, Beetlejuice was a real nefarious and unlikable character. Thankfully, Burton saw the potential to make something else and push for all changes after all the original script doesn't sound like a big crowd pleaser. I don't think I would have liked Beetlejuice as a more nefarious and, ugly character. I like him as the annoying, lovable demon that he turned out to be. All right, so what was your fact?
So the car crash, the irony in that was one of the most safe cars in that of that year.
I don't even know what car that was.
I don't remember what car it was, but
I never really paid attention to the car at all.
It was one of the. It was claimed as one of the most safe cars of that year.
Oh, that's funny. So that was
the fact that
1988.
they crashed and drowned.
All right.
kind
So while I read this article, see if you can look up and figure out which car it is.
stop chewing on my chair.
So in many ways, Michael Keaton is similar to Bill Murray. I would agree with that. Neither actor is in the game for the money and tend to choose movies that interest them. Heck, you only need to look at why Keaton dropped out of Batman, which is what I was referring to earlier. Batman Forever, saying the script was terrible and he just wasn't interested. I totally agree with that. I think Michael Keaton has, even back then, I think he had enough credential that he could really pick and choose his projects, and I think that's what he does. He'll look at a project, and it's not as much the price tag that he gets for it, but more of how he's going to enjoy it, how he thinks the fans are going to enjoy it, and I think that's a great way to look at it. I like that. Next fact.
It was a Volvo.
Oh, a Volvo. Okay, that makes sense. That makes total sense. It goes on to say, as such, it often takes a little bit of persuasion to convince these actors that a project is worth their time. For Keaton, he wasn't too keen on Beetlejuice when he received the script. Tim Burton wasn't to be deterred though, and headed off to meet with Keaton, and the rest is history. Nowadays, Keaton cites Beetlejuice as one of the most fun films that he's ever made, and a favorite of his filmography. Imagine if he'd stuck to the original decision and hadn't let Burton twist his arm. And I agree. I think this is one of his most fun roles. I've watched several Michael Keaton movies, and yeah, I think this is probably the most fun role that he's ever done. Next, Beetlejuice was depicted as a winged reptilian demon whose human form is that of a Middle Eastern man in the original script.
Huh.
This concept came from the brain of Michael McDowell, who worked with Larry Wilson on the story. Tim Burton, though, wanted to do something a little more different than what the two envisioned, and brought Warren Scarron on board to polish things up, aka change things. Did they really need that? Anyway, obviously the character didn't turn out the way that McDowell and Wilson originally conceived, and we saw the bioexorcist ghost morph into a more used car salesman, which I think is a fantastic description of Beetlejuice. Hey, things turned out for the better here, right? Agreed. Yeah, I think it would have been weird to have him as a winged reptilian demon. And I don't think the movie would have worked well like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I love the over the top salesman bit that Beetlejuice, that Michael Keaton brings to the character. I think it's fantastic. Deo. The song Deo. 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 Daylight come on, we want to go home. Can't sing too much of that. We'll get copyright strike. Anyway, Deo was played at Glenn Shattuck's funeral. So that was Otto, okay, in the original film. He was the interior decorator, the really weird guy. One of the fondest memories of Beetlejuice is the dinner scene where the guests are supernaturally compelled to dance to Harry Belafonte's Deo, the Banana Boat song. It's such a fun, eccentric moment that sums up the tone of the movie beautifully. It does. It's one of the best scenes in the film. In 2010, 58-year-old Glenn Shattuck, who played Otho. Well, it's spelled Otho. I think it's Otho. He played Otho in the movie. Fell in his kitchen and died of a blunt trauma to his head. At his memorial service, his final song played was Deo.
That's cool.
And it's kind of funny because the opening scene of Beetlejuice, we have the funeral of the dad, and we have a children's church choir performing Deo, which I thought was fitting. Anyway, a fitting send off to a gifted actor and a fan favorite of the movie. I thought that was a fun little fact that I wanted to make sure we added, and I thought it tied in really well with the new film.
Hi, Sam.
Oh, is Sam in? Hey, Sam. Sam's in saying hi from the down under. Fought any drop bears lately, Sam? All right. So Michael Keaton ad-libbed a lot. Now this I could totally imagine. That's why I asked you if that was a Michael Keaton idea at the end of the film, of the original film. It should come as no surprise that a Tim Burton movie set allows for creativity and actors to spread their wings and do the unconventional. Thus, we find it perfectly acceptable that Burton allowed star Michael Keaton to ad-lib his lines in the movie. In an interview with Coming Soon, Keaton revealed how he improvised many of his lines in the first feature film. Now, if you think about that, he was only in the movie for 20 minutes. And it says that he ad-libbed many of his lines. I wonder if he gave us any lines from the script. Because he wasn't in it for very long. When I did Night Shift, I improvised quite a bit because I would improvise at the audition. So sometimes I would return to the original lines, and then I was on set and I would improvise even more. He said, it's safe to say that without his unique quirks and ad libs, Beetlejuice wouldn't have been quite the same. Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. Will you quit trying to bite my elbow?
I was trying to eat my chair earlier.
I think she's trying to eat my elbow. Maybe my shirt too. I don't know what in the world she wants. How about you take her out for a minute, and I'll read these next few facts while you're gone. Well, we got to do something to try and calm her down.
No,
She's
I
going
was laughing at
nuts.
Sam's comment.
Oh, drop bear. I will hit one with my car, but it flew away. That's funny. Oh man, Sam, they're 10 foot tall and they breathe fire. You might want to be careful trying to hit them with your car. I love furthering this whole drop bear thing. This is great. We're going to keep this going for a little while. Anyway, the snake scene was filmed before Michael Keaton was cast. Oh dang, Megan would want to hear this. I'll come back to that until she comes back. Dang it, she's going to want to hear that too. So Tim Burton actually wanted Sammy Davis Jr. to be Beetlejuice. I think this is I can kind of see Sammy Davis Jr. playing Beetlejuice, but it's a bit of an odd pick. So while we can't imagine anyone else but Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice nowadays, Tim Burton originally wanted someone else to play the part, the legendary Rat Pack member Sammy Davis Jr. This shouldn't come as a surprise, as Burton was renowned for casting him in his movies a little more differently than others. Plus, Burton was really a huge fan of Sammy Davis Jr. and wanted to work with him. Interestingly, an earlier draft of the script called for Beetlejuice to be an African-American man, so it would make sense to get someone of Davis's talent and caliber for the role. It was producer Dave Geffen who actually suggested Michael Keaton to the director, and it stuck. Burton must have enjoyed the experience because he cast the actor as his next project in 1989's Batman, which is my all-time favorite Batman, of course. I don't know how I feel about Sammy Davis. I love Sammy Davis Jr. He was a great actor, funny guy, very talented, extremely talented. Not saying he couldn't do the role. It would have been a lot different with Sammy Davis Jr. So, and I don't know if he'd have the charisma with Winona Ryder that Michael Keaton brought. So I don't know. I think it would have just been a lot different film. Juliette Lewis auditioned for the role of Lydia. Reportedly, actress Molly Ringwald, Diane Lane, Sarah Jessica Parker, Brooke Shields, and Jennifer Connelly all turned down the role of Lydia Deetz in Beetlejuice. Maybe they thought the script was too weird. One actress in contention, though, was Juliette Lewis, who found fame in Oliver Stone's Natural Born Killers and as the flamboyant singer of Juliet and the Licks. I don't know that one. And at the end of the day, Tim Burton decided to go with Winona Ryder after being wowed by her performance in 1986's Lucas. Never seen Lucas. Ryder was only 17 years old when she filmed Beetlejuice. Looking back, it seemed like a perfect casting, as Ryder has become synonymous with Lydia. No one else could pull off angsty goth girl like she could at the time, or maybe even now. And yeah,
Isn't that the exact words that I said earlier?
yeah, pretty close. I skipped over a couple because I know that you're going to want to hear these.
I heard you talking about possible actors that could have played or were talked about
to play
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, it was Sammy Davis Jr. Do you know who Sammy Davis Jr. is?
No, but do you know that Danny DeVito was also a possibility?
I did not know that. So that's probably why they had him as a cameo
That's
in
what
the
I
second
thought.
one. I never heard that. I don't know if I'd like Danny DeVito
I
as...
don't think I'd like it. There was a couple of other Arnold Schwarzenegger
What?
was another. But Tim Burton didn't want an action star as Beetlejuice.
I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, but Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
No. No.
I think Nicolas Cage was one of them.
Oh my gosh, no.
Liam Neeson, I think, was also said as a potential. There was a few.
Okay, these are all making the Sammy Davis Jr. Pick much more betterer. Cheers. All right, so I skipped over the snake fact because I wanted you to hear this. The snake scene was filmed before Michael Keaton was cast. As you all know, most movies aren't filmed in the same linear sequence as the script. Therefore, you might get the ending completed before the first scene is even shot. With Beetlejuice, Tim Burton took exactly the same approach. The famous snake scene was actually done before Michael Keaton was cast as the lead character. Thus, an animatronic snake was utilized, which bore no likeness to him. After Keaton joined up, additional footage was shot. It was then decided to use a snake that looked more like Beetlejuice. Apparently, this was the behest of the studio execs who felt the audience wouldn't know the snake was actually Beetlejuice and not some other random monster. In retrospect, that was a smart device and added a little bit more character to the scene. I have to agree with that. Yeah. Normally, I think the studio execs are idiots and they make bad decisions.
But that was a good decision, yeah.
This is proof that I guess occasionally the studio execs might be listened to. I'm going to say occasionally because I stick with most of the time the studio execs are idiots. Let's see. A script for the sequel. This is the other one I wanted to make sure you heard. So there was a script for a sequel that was commissioned. Beetlejuice made good money for Warner Brothers from the budget of $15 million. It brought in over $73 million.
Wow.
And developed a rabid following, which is totally true. Naturally, the smell of money was a temptation that couldn't be resisted, and a script for a sequel was commissioned. In 1990, Burton hired Jonathan Gems to write Beetlejuice Goes to Hawaii. Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian.
Goes Hawaiian.
The movie would have followed the Dietz family as they moved to Hawaii and then discovered their company was built on an ancient burial grounds. Beetlejuice would be the hero and save the day by winning a surfing contest. Yeah. So that sounds a lot like it would have jumped the shark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you understand the jump the shark reference?
Evel Knievel, isn't it?
No. It's Fonzie from Happy Days. So Happy Days had an episode where Fonzie surfs, and while he surfs, he jumps a shark. There's a ramp in the water, and he jumps it and jumps over the shark. And they say that was when Happy Days went downhill. So it has become synonymous with movies and television series just falling apart, and now they use the reference jump the shark. So it came from Happy Days. Yeah, I didn't know if you knew that or not, actually. It was a dumb episode. And I love Happy Days. I was a big fan of Happy Days. All right, so moving right along. Christy Alley was the first choice for Barbara. That would have been a weird choice. Do you know who Christy Alley is?
Not by name.
Okay. Christy Alley played gosh, I can't remember her name. She was in Cheers. She replaced Shelley or whatever her name is in Cheers. She was also in Star Trek. Was it Undiscovered Country? Christy Alley is in a lot of movies. She was a big actress in the late 80s and early 90s. Anyway, she was the first choice for Barbara. I could not imagine her as Barbara, though. She's a lot different than Gina Davis. It has become widely known that Gina Davis immediately signed on to portray Barbara Maitland after meeting with Tim Burton. However, she wasn't the first choice for Barbara. Burton's original pick for the part was Cheers star Christy Alley. Sadly, she wasn't able to take the role because the show's producers wouldn't let her out of her contract. And yeah, so that's why she couldn't be a part of the movie, and that's why Gina Davis got the part. Otherwise, it would have been Christy Alley. I'm kind of happy they didn't let Christy Alley out of it, because I don't know. I think Gina Davis was much more better. Cheers. And again, I'm not talking down Christy Alley. I think she was a fantastic actress. Catherine O'Hara O'Hara met her future husband on the set. Catherine O'Hara and production designer Bo Welch told Uprocks the story of how the relationship happened. Towards the end of the movie, Tim Burton told me, "We were shooting in Vermont. You should ask Catherine out," and said, "What?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, you should ask her out." It didn't even occur to me that I was even supposed to talk to the actors. But since Tim told me to, I did. And then we dated and we were married. And here we are today. So O'Hara and Welch were married in 1992 and have two sons, Matthew and Luke. I thought that was a neat little fact.
Interesting.
Angelica Huston. Anyway, was almost cast as Delia. As the rumor goes, Angelica Huston, I think it's Huston, was all but set to play Delia. However, she had to bow out of the production due to illness. Fortunately for Hudson, she got another chance at an eccentric dark comedy in the shape of Barry Sonnenfeld's The Addams Family, which was a great series. Tim Burton and company needed to find someone else for the part and offered it to actress Catherine O'Hara. So, you've seen the 90s Addams Family movies.
I've never seen the movies in the full length. I've seen clips.
Really?
I've never seen anything Addams
Oh my
Family.
gosh. How did we not watch those with
Because
you?
you were more of a fan of the Munsters.
Well, I am. I do. I like the
So I've
Munsters
watched
better.
the Munsters.
I do like the Munsters better, but those movies are great. I mean, they're really good. I don't know why we haven't watched them with you. Anyway, yeah, Morticia, she would have been
Huh.
Delia.
Interesting. I could kind of see that.
Yeah, she could. I don't know.
It would be a very different role for
Again.
Morticia.
Right. It would.
Because Morticia's the very elegant goth queen.
Oh, definitely. And I think things worked out for the better for
Yeah.
her, because
I think Catherine O'Hara fits the role really well.
Catherine O'Hara is perfect.
What do I know her from besides Beetlejuice?
I can't remember. She's been in other stuff though.
Because I know she has a very recognizable face.
So anyway, we almost got Morticia as Delia Dietz. And finally, the movie was almost called, get this, Scared Sheetless.
That was Tim Burton's.
Oh, did you know this fact?
I just saw that this morning.
Oh, nice.
It was the original was actually Spook House. And
Okay.
Tim Burton threw out the joke of Scared Sheetless, which I love that.
Do you know the joke is referring to a scene in the original Beetlejuice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's referring to when the Maitlands try to scare the Dietz, and they come in with Delia's sheets, her designer sheets that they cut holes in to see through, and they come in as ghosts in the sheets. So, So he wanted to call it Scared Sheetless. Before Beetlejuice was settled on as the final name of the movie, there was a bit of back and forth regarding what it should be called. You see, a lot of films' marketability is in its title, so the studio wanted to make sure it was right and didn't think Beetlejuice was catchy enough. See, those guys don't always know what they're talking about. Reportedly, House Ghost was the preferred title. Yeah, House Ghost was the preferred title according to this. Because being too on the nose is no such thing in Hollywood. Tim Burton jokingly offered Scared Sheetless as an alternative and cheeky reference to the scene where the Maitlands attempt to scare the Dietz out of the house by wearing bed sheets. The studio thought he was serious and considered it. Oh my God. Fortunately, someone came to their senses and decided to go with the original name, Beetlejuice. So there you have it.
I have facts.
Okay. All right. What are your facts?
So, the model that Adam builds in the original one.
Yeah. So the town.
I don't think we ever see it before they died. But
no, you mean the town model?
Yeah.
Yeah, we see it. We see it because that's what they leave the house. Adam needs parts. He needed a certain part for it. And that's actually what they were leaving the house for when they have the accident and get killed.
Okay. Well, after they die, the model of the I don't know the overpass that they crashed into has the hole in it.
Wow. That's cool.
I was trying to see if it still did in the new one, but I
did not see that, but I saw the car. I saw the car in.
Oh, the car's in it too.
Yeah, the car is in the river.
Nice.
Which I thought was that was a pretty cool detail in the new one.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah, in the new one. Yeah.
Oh. See, because I was looking for the red overpass. I couldn't see that when they.
Oh, I saw it. I saw it, and the car is actually in the model.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
I was trying to.
Astrid actually rides over the bridge.
Yeah.
On her bicycle, and I thought that was a nice little callback.
That was in the trailers.
Right. Yeah. very good callback to the original film. So some of the fun things that I liked in the new film. One thing I liked Delia's character much more better. Cheers.
I have a drink.
In the new film than I did in the original Beetlejuice film.
Yeah, she mellowed out a bit.
Yeah. Well, she was still her weird
Yeah.
artsy, and that
eccentric.
that part of her drives me nuts, which she's supposed to. That's exactly who she's supposed to be.
Right.
And she works perfect for that. And I that's like one of the things I love to hate about her. But I thought in the original one she's a really annoying character, and in this one there was a lot of scenes I was like, I actually agree with her. So apparently I kind of grew up a little bit with Delia.
But I have one other fact.
Okay.
So his name is spelled
Beetlejuice.
2 different ways.
Right.
In all the merchandise and the title and everything to do with like merchandising, it's Beetle, like the bug,
Right.
and juice, like the drink, is what he uses to describe in the charades, to get her to figure out his name.
Right.
And yet in the movie, everything, like on the flyer, on the tombstone, the sign that says Beetlejuice, it's spelled Beetleguise.
Right. More like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, which Adam actually pronounces it that way in
Yes.
the original. And it's questioned if he's dyslexic because he mispronounces Beetlejuice, but that's a fair one. He also mispronounces something with the Book of the Recently Deceased. Because he says diseased.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
And
I remember
the fact that he has trouble getting through it. It's questioned that if he was supposed to be dyslexic. But anyway, back to the spelling. There's 2 different versions to spell it because they didn't think that how it's spelled in the movie was going to be perceived well. So they changed it to a simpler form. But also, they got the name.
But there's more.
They got the name Beetlejuice. There is a star in the Orion constellation named Beetlejuice.
Oh, cool.
Spelled the way that it is in the movie.
Nice.
So I thought that was really cool.
I agree with the decision to
change the spelling.
for all the marketing
Yeah.
and and the naming of the film to make it juice, like in orange juice.
Also, there's technically 3. Because in the title card in the original, it actually has Beetle and Juice split. Like there's a space between Beetle.
So it's 2 separate words.
Yeah.
Huh.
But everything else, it's all one word.
Nice.
Those are my facts.
I love the fact that they use the 2 different spellings. I think it's cool.
I think that was a good idea.
I think it was natural for Adam's character to look at that, and he's pronouncing it the way he sees it. I probably would have looked at it and said Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
That's
why I said that's a fair one.
Right.
That's a fair one to mispronounce. But he says the Book of the Recently Diseased. And the fact that he has trouble reading through the book.
Well, I don't think that had to do with any kind of dyslexia.
Later on,
I think it's more of they're just saying it's a difficult book to understand, period. That's the way I took it anyway. I'd probably have a hard time reading that book. And like you said, it reads like stereo instructions. Which I thought was a good line.
That's just what I...
Okay. Well, I really liked Delia's character better in the second one because one, we have 3 storylines going on. We have I know we're over our time, but Steven's not here, so because otherwise Steven would be sitting there clicking at his watch. But yeah, hey. So Steven's not here, so we'll go over time today. Anyway, that was a little jab at you, buddy. Sorry. Love you. Anyhow, so we have 3 different storylines going on, really. We have the storyline with the Dietz family and the fact that Lydia is in a TV show, which is all about haunted houses and exploring haunted houses and so on and so forth.
Using her powers.
Right. Using her quote unquote powers that she can talk to the dead and stuff like that. You know, stuff that we do see on TV today, you know. And then her producer of the show becomes her fiance, and he's a scumbag. I hated him from his intro.
So did I.
Oh gosh, this guy was horrible. He's terrible. I'm not saying the actor's terrible. I'm just saying the character. Oh God, I hated this character. I was like, really, Lydia, you're going to get involved with this guy? Beetlejuice is better than this guy.
Right?
Come on, this guy's terrible. You think Beetlejuice is scummy? Yeah, no. I think Beetlejuice got more morals than this guy. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, he did end up being the one to expose him.
So. Exactly. So you got that storyline going. Then you got the storyline with Astra. You know, Astrid. Sorry. Astrid is Lydia's daughter. And she is sort of the goth girl, although Lydia's.
Yeah, she doesn't quite envelop the gothic aesthetic.
Yeah, you're right. She doesn't. She's nowhere near as goth as Lydia still is.
Right.
I mean, Lydia looks exactly like she did in 1988, you know, as far as her character goes. I mean, of course she's aged, but she's got the same hair. She's wearing the same clothes. In fact, she even still wears her Catholic school looking gown. And that drives me up a wall.
I don't know if that's...
You don't know if what?
Because there's 2 different... there's different outfits.
Well, yeah,
I think in majority of the movie, the original one, it's not the Catholic outfit.
There's 2 main outfits that she wears, and those are almost identical to the ones she wears in the original film. And you're right, there are a couple other wardrobe changes.
Because the Catholic outfit is very much the skirt with the white shirt. And
No, it's more of a dark colored dress is what it is. It's if you watch the closing scene where Lydia comes home with her homework and
then they do the dance again. I can't think of
Well, it's not Deo, it's a different song.
No, it's the other song.
Yeah, I can't think of it either.
But they haunt the house.
Right.
To move.
And then they have the football players dancing with Lydia.
She's in like a plaid skirt.
Right.
And the white shirt with almost like a suit jacket.
But it looks almost identical to one of the outfits she was wearing. And I'm like, really? You're going to wear the same things you wore when you were 16, 15, whatever age she was supposed to be in Beetlejuice. I don't remember. Anyway, that was
teenager.
Yeah, I was like, that was my only issue with Lydia. I was like, could you grow up a little bit? just a little. I mean, I know she was embracing her character for the new TV series is what it is, but it's like even outside the TV, you know, outside of
it's still her style.
Right, it's still her style. And I was like, okay, all right. That was a little bit, it kind of took me out just slightly.
I like the gothic style.
Well, I do too. I mean, it fits her character and everything, but it was like, oh, I don't know.
She could have changed her hair.
Yeah, she could have. They could have done something.
That could have been a wig for the show. She could have had a different hairstyle and just had the wig to be her.
I mean, that way, at least when she's away from
bangs.
the show, she's not recognized as, maybe she would not be recognized as Lydia.
But I also think that kind of plays into the whole plot point of her and Astrid not being close.
Well, and it also plays into her
Just kind of going along with.
well,
Okay.
her being, down.
Yeah.
She's depressed.
Yeah.
She's very depressed in the film.
She lost her spunk, which
Yeah.
that's commented on
Well, yeah, that's
in the
commented
movie.
on by
Delia.
By Delia, and I was like, I totally agree with you, Delia.
Where's that goth teenager that terrorized me?
Yeah, right. And that was the one point I went, oh my god, I agree with Delia.
Yeah.
So anyway, but you have the storyline with Astrid, and then her newfound quote unquote boyfriend. I don't know if we really call him a boyfriend because she just meets him, but he's presented as what could potentially be the boyfriend for her.
Oh, you're talking about Astrid.
Yeah, Astrid, right. So then we have that storyline going on. Then we have the third storyline, which is between Beetlejuice and his ex-wife, and I forget her name.
Dolores, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right. And I actually enjoyed that storyline because I think that storyline they really added to Beetlejuice's character.
I liked that. I liked getting to learn more about Beetlejuice, like actually learning about him.
Right.
Because we got a little bit more of the time period.
Right, which is like the 1700s.
1800s, something like that.
And
plague doctors.
What?
There was plague doctors.
Oh, nice. I don't think I saw them.
Yeah, they're the ones with the masks.
Okay.
That's in the flashback.
Well, I mean, I know what the plague doctors are, but I don't remember.
And then she had a kind of like a masquerade mask, but it was the plague doctor.
Okay, yeah.
Because it had the bird.
Right.
Beak.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, we find out that Beetlejuice was originally a grave robber, which I thought was fun.
That fits his character.
I think so
well.
I think it works pretty well. It makes him macabre, and yeah, I thought it was cool. I like that. So yeah, we got the kind of the backstory of Beetlejuice, learned a little bit of who he was,
how he died.
Yeah, and how he died. Because his ex turns out she's a soul sucker.
She was a part of a cult.
Right. She was part of a cult, and they were known as the soul suckers, and yeah, they suck souls out of people.
And then she became to literally do that in death.
Right. And she killed, which is funny. There was a joke about this woman being a soul sucker, and Beetlejuice goes, "You got that right."
Mm-hmm.
I think he was meaning that in kind of two different ways, but yeah. So she's the one who actually kills Beetlejuice, and so that's how we find out that he ends up in the afterlife and becomes who he becomes in the afterlife.
Mm-hmm. But he manages to kill her before he dies.
Right. He killed her, and he was pretty gruesome. Chopped her up too.
Mm-hmm.
Because then
Jack the Ripper style.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a story in the Bible that's close to that, where somebody is killed, a woman is killed, and body parts are sent all over Jerusalem. So yeah,
interesting.
But I don't think her body parts were separated. I think he just.
Well, they were.
Well, I mean,
because they were all in different boxes.
Right.
But they weren't shipped off.
Right. They weren't shipped off somewhere like in the Bible. So I'm
sure maybe if he wasn't dying, he might have.
Yeah, he might have. It's possible. Just, all right, I'm going to ship her to different places in the world. but he died. So,
yeah.
So
I like the time.
I liked her. I thought she was good. I thought she played.
She kind of gave Morticia vibes.
Yes, agreed. She kind of looked similar to Morticia. I loved how she stapled herself back together.
I like that too.
And I love her look with the stapled
Mhm.
face, and that was cool. And she stapled her ear back on, and
And her
staples
finger.
her finger and her legs, and great scenes. And we are in spoiler territory, by the way. So I enjoyed that. I thought that was really good. So what did you think about the Astrid storyline with the boyfriend?
I liked it.
So we meet.
I called it.
I did too. Oh well, okay.
You questioned.
I questioned it, and I didn't question him per se. I
questioned him immediately.
I questioned his parents first, but as that scene went along, I'm sitting there going, I don't trust this guy. I don't trust him.
As I don't know, as soon as he came on the screen, he seemed kind of. Now I understand it. I think he was shocked.
Right.
Because she saw him.
Right. So let's set that up. So Astrid is basically just trying to get away from.
She's running away.
Well, I wouldn't say she's running away. It's one of those moments she's just got to get away from her family and think, and she just needs some time alone, and she's frustrated, and it's right after they tell her that her grandfather's died, and
it's at the wake.
Oh yeah, it was that's right, it's at the wake, and it's when Lydia
Sleazeball.
Yeah, with Sleazeball.
I don't know his name. I don't remember his name.
Who cares? I like Sleazeball. We'll go with Sleazeball.
When Sleazeball forces
Lydia into accepting a marriage proposal, which on Halloween, midnight on Halloween.
Which I'm still confused. If it's midnight,
it's technically November
September
1st
or November 1st.
Right.
That's not.
I thought
about
Halloween. That too. I thought about that too.
They said something about midnight, and I'm going. So is it?
It's Day of the Dead.
October 30th or 30th to the 30th. Like you're going into Halloween, but no, they meant
because
the full day of Halloween, and then So that's not. That's November 1st.
Which would be.
Well, it's
Day of the Dead, wouldn't it?
It would be Dia de los Inocentes.
Okay.
Because that one's first.
Well,
Day of the Dead is November 2nd.
Oh, okay. All right. But either way, it's not Halloween.
No.
I thought about that too. I was sitting there going,
I was so confused. I'm like, how are you going to tell
wait a minute.
that she's getting married on her favorite holiday, but she's actually not.
Right. Yeah, I think that was a bit of a plot hole. But anyway, so Astrid is running off. Yeah, I got a spam risk coming through. Anyway, so Astrid is running off, and she's on a bicycle, and that's when she crosses the bridge, and she almost gets hit by a car, and then almost gets hit by a truck, and then runs through a fence, and runs head first into a tree. And hence we meet her quote unquote boyfriend, her, boyfriend material, we'll call him. Her crush. Yeah. Okay. That works. She meets her crush. And he's up in the treehouse there. And she's talking to him and everything, and hits it off right away. And I didn't quite suspect him yet.
I had a very slight, but I didn't say anything.
Okay.
Because I saw the hesitation from him when he first sees her and she sees him, and he's just kind of like,
good catch. Good catch.
He definitely had a look of, wait, you see me, but he didn't ask that.
Right. He didn't want to give that away. Right. So certain things have power.
And then he quickly figured out who she was.
Right. Well, yeah, that when she said, what did she say? Something about
they were talking about the house.
Right. And she said that's her house. The
ghost house.
And he goes, you mean you live in the ghost house? You go, wait a minute, your mom's Lydia Dietz?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, unfortunately. So yeah, well, that was in the preview too. So yeah, that's how we get the intro of those two. But then he takes her into his house. This is where I started to question things, because they come in the house. The mom is in the kitchen cooking, and he's like, "Yeah, my mom's always cooking, always." And they really make a big deal of, you don't get to see her face.
Mhm.
And I'm like, what's wrong with his mom? That's weird.
And then immediately,
And then right afterwards, we see the back of his dad, and again, no
No face.
shot of the face. And I'm going, there's something weird going on here. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know whether he is the issue or they are the
Right.
issue. But I had a feeling at that point, I was thinking that he was trying to bring them back to life, is what I was thinking originally. I didn't quite put it together
Yeah.
that he was actually, quote unquote, the bad guy of the film. I kind of thought
one of
that,
them.
right. I kind of thought that he actually might have had good intentions, and those intentions were to,
Bring his parents back.
right. Do me a favor. I hear her chewing on something. Go see what it is. Oh my gosh. So yeah, he takes Astrid into his home, and they hit things off, and he, quote unquote, makes a date with her for Halloween. Because he's like, "Oh, well, you got all this going on, and I'll help you take your mind off of it," so on and so forth. So he invites her over for Halloween. And oh,
Yeah.
there's Angie. Well, yeah, of course we're live, Angie.
I think she meant that we've been going on for an hour and a half.
That's because Steven's not here. I can get away with that. And I had all my facts. I took up a lot of time with the facts, so, and we didn't get much into the new film, so I wanted to get more into the new film. Anyway, so yeah, they make a date, and yeah, Angie normally, hey, here. Angie said, I assumed you would be done. Yes, normally we would be done if Steven were here. But like I said, I had a bunch of facts that I went through, and that kind of took up our time, and I didn't get enough into the new film, and I wanted to get more into the new film. So, because I mean, after all, this is about Beetlejuice, not just Beetlejuice. So, yeah, so he makes the date with her and everything. And yeah, at this point, Lydia is the one who's like, I don't know about this, but of course that's mom
Well, she's
being
yeah.
protective, of her little girl. And I get that. I understand that. I completely get that, but at the same time, she's like, look, I don't want to be the overprotective helicopter
Overbearing.
parent, so on and so forth. And I'm going to let you go off and have your space and, have your time with this boy, thinking she's doing the right thing. And turns out she's not.
She should have went in to meet his parents.
Yeah, she should have went in to meet his parents, because
We might have avoided.
right. So it turns out that basically he is not only dead, but he killed his parents. And that's why you don't see their faces, because the way they died, yeah, he like, I don't know,
I
he
think
put
his
a
mom
saw
had a
in
can
his,
opener,
yeah, like a can opener in her eye.
and
And
his dad had something else in his
I
eye.
think a saw right in the face or
Something like
something.
that.
I don't remember what it was, but pretty
I don't know. It was so quick they didn't show their faces very long.
right. And I think that was on purpose, because Beetlejuice is not really meant to be a over the top gory film. It's meant to be more comic based.
Angie said he had a circle saw.
Oh, okay, yeah, some kind of saw. You're right. But yeah, so and he's wanting to basically use Lydia, or use Astrid to come,
Trade lives.
yeah, trade lives and come back to the living and become alive again and possibly kill again. What is she doing?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, we may have to wrap this up because the dog's getting nuts. So long story short, we find out that he's really the bad guy of the film. Instead of Lydia's fiance, he's not really the bad guy. He's just the scummy guy. I did not like him. See what Angie says here, which thank God for that, because he was a psychopath. Yes. The kid was a total and complete psychopath. And yes, Lydia's her fiance was a total tool. I hated him. I hated him from the minute he was on screen. In fact, I looked at Brenda and said, I can't wait till he gets eaten by a sandworm. I said that early on in the film too. And sure enough, it happened. Spoiler alert. He was eaten by a sandworm. That's how he dies. And I was like, oh, thank God. But in the meantime, Astrid is tricked into going to the other side, and basically tricked into trading her soul to the boyfriend, so it can bring him back to life. In the meantime, we have Lydia, who's basically trying to get out of her wedding with what do we call him? Sleazebag. Get out of her wedding with Sleazebag, so she makes a deal with Beetlejuice to help get Astrid back. And of course, with her deal, to get Astrid back, she has to marry Beetlejuice again, so we got that going on.
So Beetlejuice and the kid that I don't know his name, I don't remember his name either, the boyfriend,
didn't it?
Yeah, but it gave me more with the kid than Beetlejuice.
I'm not seeing the connection to Ghostbusters though. Angie said, didn't that kind of give you a Ghostbusters vibe?
The newest Ghostbusters with Phoebe and the Ghost Girl.
I didn't even think about it, but yeah, I guess you're right. I didn't even consider that. But go ahead.
Beetlejuice and the kid had the same goal to try and be alive again, or at least permanently be in the mortal world.
Right. Well, we've always known that's been Beetlejuice's goal since the first movie.
But they did it in two different ways.
Correct. Yes, this is true.
I didn't realize that there was multiple ways that they could try and cheat that.
Well, okay, that's another thing I want to bring up. So, in the original film,
Bye, Angie.
Thanks for dropping in. In the original film, Otho, he makes a statement, because one of the characters.
He reads the book.
Well, yeah, he reads the book, but one of the characters, and this is before he gets the book though, when they're having the dinner, and that's just before the Deo scene.
Oh, yeah.
One of the characters makes some kind of joke about suicide. And he goes, they say in the afterlife, if you commit suicide in the afterlife, you become a civil servant. And that was one of the things I didn't understand in the new one, and then we also have another reference to it in the original Beetlejuice with the woman, the receptionist, where everybody's
taking the tickets.
Yeah, where they're waiting and everything, and the couple,
Adam and Barbara.
Right, Adam and Barbara. One of them makes the comment something about so this is what happens after death or something like that. And then the receptionist goes, this is what happens after his death. This is what happens after her death. This is what happens after your death. It's all very different and it's all very personal. And if I would have known this, before, I wouldn't have had my little accident. And you can see that she slit her wrists, so saying she committed suicide, and she's basically saying, if I would have known,
it.
Right. If I would have known how I was going to suffer for committing suicide, I would not have done it. Not making any statements here, just
That's what the movie is.
right. Just quoting what the movie is. So moving forward to the new movie, you know, we get introduced to Astrid's dad, who Astrid's dad and Lydia had a falling out, and he's kind of an adventurer, and he gets killed on the Amazon, and that's part of Lydia's and Astrid's story, and you know, the reason they don't get along is because Lydia still sees the dead, but Astrid is upset with her because she can't see her dad, you know, and she's like, well, if you can't see dad, that means that you don't see the dead, that you're lying about all of this, you know, so on and so forth. Well, when Astrid is tricked into going to the other side, her dad sees her, and he is one of the workers. He's working. And I didn't understand that because he didn't kill himself. He died in the Amazon.
I would think that there's probably, I would think there has to be some kind of option, because he didn't seem like he didn't seem miserable. Like,
no, he didn't really. He didn't.
Like the receptionist. He didn't really seem like he was stuck there. It seemed like more like a normal job. So maybe they have also,
I don't know. I just thought
jobs.
I just thought, is this a plot hole from the original, though? Because it was very adamant in the original that the civil servants and such, the workers, were all ones who committed suicide, and they still played that up in the new movie too with I think with Danny DeVito's character, because so we have the cameo of Danny DeVito, who's a janitor, he's a worker, and then he goes off and drinks bleach. Yeah, that's what it was, bleach. And I just got the feeling that that's how he died. That's the way he died. That's what I assume they were trying to convey there. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, he committed suicide. Now he's a worker in the afterlife. That makes perfect sense. But with Lydia's dad, or not Lydia's dad, but with Astrid's dad, he got killed in the Amazon. So I was totally confused by that. I was
and he died by piranhas.
Right. He died by piranhas.
It was never said, but he had piranhas.
Right. He had piranhas on him still. So, which I thought was funny. It was a nice little addition. Oh, and Willem Dafoe was in the movie too. Willem Dafoe was great in the movie. I usually like Willem Dafoe's characters in most everything he's been in. He
wasn't a villain for once.
No, not really. No,
he normally plays villains.
He's kind of a hero in this, actually. Of course, he is going after.
True.
I mean,
but it's kind of justified.
Yeah.
He's kind of the police force.
Yeah, he's the police force in the afterlife.
It seems like he's made himself the police force.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I don't think there was one really.
Well, the way it was conveyed was that he was basically doing it because he was an actor.
Like he was Terminator.
No, to me it was more Dirty Harry. I don't think you know who Dirty Harry. That's a Clint Eastwood movie. It's a Clint Eastwood movie series, actually.
I know there's a reference in SpongeBob. At least I'm pretty sure that is.
What was the reference?
I'm Dirty Dan. Dirty Dan, and I don't know the other one.
Does he say, "Go ahead and make my day"?
I don't remember.
Because that was
so long.
That was Dirty Harry's tagline. Go ahead, make my day. Do you feel lucky, punk?
That's where that comes from?
Yeah, that's where it comes from. Comes from Dirty Harry. Yeah. There used to be a song. It was a great song. I love that song. But anyway, yeah, I kind of got Dirty Harry vibes. That's what I felt. But you wouldn't have known the Dirty. Well, you didn't quite know the other reference too, which is another 70s reference. And we had the Soul Train, which your mother and I thought was freaking hilarious. We loved it. It was so funny. So the souls, the dead eventually go to the soul train. And my only disappointment was we didn't get the actual soul train like in the original television series Soul Train and back in the 70s. That we got something similar. It sounded similar. And then the guy who was kind of doing the
conductor.
Yeah, the conductor, he was almost like the host of the original Soul Train, which was pretty darn funny. And then everybody's dancing like they were in Soul Train and everything. Great reference. Loved that. Thought that was hilarious. So that was another great movie moment in the movie, in my opinion, anyway. Yeah. So I forgot where we were at. Oh, so Beetlejuice is trying to help Lydia get Astrid back to the other side, but Astrid at this point has the boyfriend has already tricked her into basically giving him his soul. So now they got to figure out how to get it back, and that's where Beetlejuice comes in. And then, of course, Beetlejuice is getting hunted down by his ex-wife at the same time. So you got that going on. And then so Beetlejuice ends up tricking the boyfriend, and I love that.
I love that too.
That was fantastic.
Because the whole thing was that they took the boyfriend took Astrid down to immigration.
Yes.
And that's where the trading the soul is, and he gets a passport that he has to get stamped, and that's what solidifies the transfer. And so as Astrid is being pulled to the soul train, she sees her dad. That starts that whole separate adventure. But by the time that Astrid, her dad, and Lydia get back to immigration, it looks like the boyfriend's already got his, he's getting it stamped at that second. Right.
He's getting it stamped, and it turns out that Beetlejuice is actually stamping it. And what did Beetlejuice say?
I think it said access denied.
Yeah, something like access denied. He had it.
It was something funny.
It was something funny, and I can't think of what it was. And then all of a sudden this
trap. Yeah, you thought, or something.
Yeah, something. And then this trap door opens, and the boyfriend drops into flames. So I'm assuming that's insinuating he went to hell.
Yeah, both heaven and hell were kind of insinuated in this one.
Where was heaven insinuated?
The train.
Yeah, I guess
the Great Beyond.
Yeah, I guess so. That makes sense.
And it's also implied that that's where the Maitlands found a loophole for.
That's true. They said the reason the Maitlands weren't in it was because they found a loophole, and they didn't have to haunt.
The Great Beyond.
Yeah, they didn't have to haunt the house anymore, and they could go to the Great Beyond, which I thought was funny. They found a loophole. They literally said that in the movie, which was great. So Beetlejuice helps them get Astrid back. Why is her name so hard for me?
I don't know.
Helps her get Astrid back. They go back to the other side, the real world, and Beetlejuice comes with them because Beetlejuice is now going to, collect
his side of the contract.
Collect his side of the contract because he had Lydia sign a contract again, as he did in the original one, and announces that the two of them are going to get married. And then, of course, her fiance is like, wait a minute, what's going on? We're getting married and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, you don't understand. This is the demon. And he helped us get Astrid back and blah, blah, blah. And then Beetlejuice gives him a truth serum, which was great because then the truth comes out, and he starts telling how he
didn't
never
believe
really
her.
he didn't believe her. He never believed her. He didn't actually want to marry her. He only wanted to marry her
He just
because
wanted the money.
right, because he knew he could get more money as the husband instead of just the producer, so on and so forth. And I was like, I knew it. I knew he was scum all along.
Sleazebag.
I hated him. And then that's when Beetlejuice's wife shows up. Or well, just before the wife shows up,
We
oh
get Lydia back in the red wedding dress.
yeah, we did. We got Lydia back. Yeah, they were back in their complete wedding outfit from the original because he had the maroon suit too, or tux or whatever. So we had that.
Jacket.
Right. Yeah. Shoot. Oh, goodness. It was Delia that revealed that the contract was actually null. And
it was Astrid.
or was it Astrid? She revealed that the contract was null and void. What was the reasoning though?
Because Beetlejuice brought Lydia into the underworld illegally.
Right. That's what it was. So
that he broke her in.
Right. So therefore it broke the contract. And then the contract just completely burned and disappears, which I thought was great. Oh, we didn't even go into the fact that Delia dies.
Yeah.
Delia
she was scammed.
Yeah, she's scammed. She ordered snakes that supposedly the venom
had their fangs removed.
Had their fangs removed and no venom in them, and she was using it for some, I don't know, weird
something about Egyptians, and I don't know.
Yeah, it was some kind of weird Egyptian thing for the ritual for the dead that she was kind of tributing her husband and all that good stuff. And she ends up getting killed by the snakes, which she ends up in the afterlife. And so I kind of completely forgot about that portion of it. It was funny though. Don't get me wrong. That was a good part of the story too. But the main thing was the whole Beetlejuice and him doing the whole contract thing and then getting the contract null and void. And then at that point, the wife comes after Beetlejuice, and that's when
that happens, and then the that happens, and then the contract.
So who was it that drew the
Astrid?
Yeah, Astrid drew the door, or the trap door in the floor,
the sandworm,
and brought the sandworm in, and the sandworm eats both Scumbag and Beetlejuice's ex-wife, and that's how it ends. And then of course Beetlejuice has got to go back to the afterlife, which was funny too, because he blew up. He popped like a balloon. It was almost like Violet, although Violet didn't pop, but she got big enough to where she possibly could pop. So, yeah. So I think we told you all of Beetlejuice. Entire
all
movie.
The main points,
right? So overall, it was a fun movie. It was a lot of fun.
I would watch it again.
Agreed. I would watch it again. I do
want to watch it again to go detail combing.
Oh yeah,
because I'm sure there's hidden details.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there are too. And yeah, I wasn't going to pick up on everything in the first watch of it. That's for sure. At some point, we'll definitely watch it a second time. It's definitely worth a rewatch, and I would highly recommend you go to the movie theaters and see it. It's a fun movie. All right, so we are way over time. We are almost 2 hours now, so we should probably do our closing stuff. So make sure and check out Two Geeks and a Microphone, Two Geeks Mic. That's the number 2. Geeks Mic, MIC.com. And you can find out all the information about our podcast here. Also, if you want to get a hold of us, the best way to do that would be through our email, which would be show@twogeeksmic.com. as Steven says, I'm usually pretty quick to answer those emails. I'm actually a lot quicker answering emails for the show than I am for my personal email because I hate email, but whatever. And then, of course, don't forget, we have an affiliate sponsor with Glitch Energy Drink, and that's what I've been drinking for this show. And I've been drinking Smurf juice, which is delicious.
There's a sour raspberry one now. Blue
Oh, is there?
Mhm.
They seem to come out with a new one every month.
Yeah.
Try to keep you to purchase. So, but as Steven says, they do tend to have a lot of specials that you can get some really good deals on. So if they don't have a special going on and you want to try out Glitch Energy Drink, and I highly recommend it. It's really good. I'm not big on energy drinks, but I love these. These are really, really good. So if you want to try it out, and like he always says, the sampler pack is what we refer to anyone new to the product, because you get, what was it,
It's like 5 packs, flavor packs. It's their most basic flavors.
Right.
You don't get any of the specialty ones, and then you get a shaker with it.
Right. In fact, it's this very shaker, and it glows in the dark too.
That is the specific After Dark one.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 3 different ones.
There's a black one too. I also have the black one, by the way. I got that one at work. I need to get some more for work though. I don't have any in the office.
You need a tub for the office.
Yeah, I need to buy a tub for the office. That's for sure. So yeah, but if you use our code 2geeks, that's the number 2, GEEKS, all capital letters. If you go to glitchenergy.com and punch that in, you'll save a little bit on your purchase, and we would really appreciate that. And then last but not least, if you've made it this far, please make sure and go and like and subscribe on both Facebook and YouTube. Facebook, I try to post some funny memes here and there, and any information about upcoming shows, such as today's Beetlejuice. And then make sure and go give the bell a tickle over on YouTube and give us a like on YouTube, because the algorithm supposedly likes those likes and will suggest those to people who like content similar to ours. And if you give the bell a tickle, that will notify you of every time we go live. Speaking of going live, we go live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You do the math on the rest, because I don't like math. Now, I say every Saturday, but next Saturday. Next Saturday, we will not be live. I am going on vacation and going camping for mine and my wife's anniversary. So we will not be live. I am going to try and have a pre-recorded episode of Mike's Got Issues next week. So we'll see how that goes. And I think that's all I got. Megan, do you have anything else?
You forgot Kofi.
Oh, I did forget. See, that's why Steven's supposed to be here, because he's supposed to do all this stuff, not me. Also, please make sure to support us, or if you'd like to support us anyway, you can go to Ko-fi, and that's ko-fi.com/2, the number 2, geeks, GEKS. And you can support us starting at $1. You can get in at $1, and we try to put some extra things on our Ko-fi page that you will not get on this channel. And I think we might have a preview of chapter 1 of my upcoming book, an audio preview of that one. Look for that in the next couple weeks, I'd say. Steven's got to get to work on that, so that one's for you, buddy. All right. With that said, anything else, Megan?
Nope.
All right. With that said, you got the closing for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Over and out, and make sure and not Steven skip this episode, because we are much more better than the rest. Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
May the force be with you.